You're committed to eat less, maybe even fast. The trouble is, every time you try, your resolve is sabotaged by hunger. Your stomach sends wave after wave of displeasure. You do your best to fight it, but twinges of discontent eventually erode your good intentions. You pop something into your mouth, silence, but defeat. How do the professionals do it? Join us for this episode of Better Body Chemistry TV as we discover some fasting tricks of the trade. Better Body Chemistry TV is brought to you by Dr. Sandy, a scientist turned gremlin buster, helping you battle sugar gremlins, heifer lumps, and other health horribles through better body chemistry. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health. Well, it turns out Chinese monks don't only reach out to a higher power to stave off the desire to eat, they have a secret weapon. It's called Yuchan fanlang gong. Translated into English, it means frog making waves. Basically, it's a breathing technique. It's not particularly flattering, hence the reference to a frog making waves. But it does work. Traditionally, monks would assume the position before a scheduled meal. They would flap around on the floor, alternating chest and belly contractions. On the inhale, the chest would be expanded and the belly depressed. On the exhale, the chest would be allowed to collapse and the belly to bulge. 40 to 60 breaths later, all sense of hunger would be gone. It's part of the Chinese Qigong tradition, but it's not a special spiritual technique. It's a biological hack anyone can use. If we look at what makes you hungry, some would say the hormone gremlin, but that clutchy feeling associated with being hungry is actually a reflection of pressure changes in the stomach and intestinal walls. Gremlin helps to precipitate these changes, but the pressure changes are what makes you uncomfortable, aka hungry. So if you can stretch the stomach wall, you can cause that sense of hunger to disappear. This is what a plateful of food does. At a pinch, a liter of water or two will do it too, but the effect is short-lived and necessitates more bathroom visitations than usual. The whole thing can be hacked. In fact, this is the principle used in an intra-gastric balloon. When the balloon is inflated, it stretches the stomach walls, inhibiting feeding behavior. The problem with this is it's invasive, costly, and, well, semi-permanent. Which brings us to frog making waves breathing. It's undemanding, but it's still hard to sell the idea of lying on the floor with your legs in the air for 40 to 60 breaths. A group of researchers decided to see if they could give the ancient breathing practice a bit of a modern twist and make it a little bit more user-friendly. Holding fast to the physioanatomical principle of stretching the stomach, they were able to transform it into a standing up practice, which could be implemented in 10 breaths by someone sporting a bit of a belly. The new improved practice involved, on the inhalation, the belly being pulled in and then the breath being held for 3 to 4 seconds while the abdominal muscles contract. This is the key. On the exhalation, everything relaxes. The team confirmed that it does produce physiological changes in both stomach pH and intestinal pressure. They then tested out the new practice on 2 groups of heavyweight wannabe fasters. 30 learned the hunger busting technique and 30 learned ordinary square breathing. All of them arrived at the lab hungry. They'd undergone a 24-hour fast, and then they were locked in a room without food and told to deal with the hunger by engaging in breathing. Well, it worked. The level of discomfort of the group doing the hunger-busting breathing was decidedly less, and they had no idea the technique might actually lessen hunger. They were under the impression that the purpose of the breathing was to serve as a distraction. The benefits of hunger buster breathing lasted 1 to several hours. Now, for this group of dieters, it empowered many of them to undertake a more long-term fast. So, if you would like to create better body chemistry through fasting, try a little frog breathing. It might just help take the edge off those hunger pangs. Interested in discovering more ways to create better body chemistry or need a little help getting your body chemistry on track? Visit our website at www.betterbodychemistry.com. Browse our library or enroll in one of our courses or programs. The advice is simple to follow and based on real science, not hype. Know someone who is struggling to fast but wants to? Share this video with them so they can learn this trick of the trade. And if this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you catch future episodes of Better Body Chemistry TV. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health.